God bless you all. This is Administrative Assistant Marquelo Futrell. I'm here, watch night, New Year's Eve service here at All Creation. We're praying, the saints are praying upstairs, but I wanted to take a moment to stop and connect with you. You may say, why are you not in prayer on New Year's Eve? I'm here to announce my candidacy for jurisdictional bishop of Eastern Missouri First. Eastern Missouri First is a very historical jurisdiction, 109 years to be exact, 2 years younger than the National Church. And I believe that God has placed a vision, a mission in my heart to succeed the late Bishop R.J. Ward. Many of you all have already received my pamphlet. Many of you all have probably been on the webpage. By the way, that webpage to find out information about what I'm going to be talking about is www.MAFSr. That's F as in Frank, UTRELL.com. It's so important for you to go to that webpage, go to your desktop, go to your laptop, go to your smartphone, and just see the things that we have in place to show you, the leaders, the pastors of Eastern Missouri First, friends and family that are on Facebook that follow me in this ministry, just to see what God has placed in my heart. One of our leaders in our church wrote a very good book, and when I went before the general board to give my presentation, to offer myself to the work of the Lord, he told us we needed to get a book, So You Want to Be a Bishop. And the book wasn't really what the title would suggest, but it was really what I needed to see. It was really what I needed to read concerning the things that I believe that God has placed in my heart. I believe that God has called me for such a time as this to do the work of the Lord. I definitely desire the work of a bishop, and I definitely desire to walk in that office. And I believe that I have things that I can offer to this jurisdiction to take us to the next level, the next realm in God. One of the things that I want you to know is that God has given me vision. He's given me a mission. And I believe that we exist as a jurisdiction to connect pastors, to connect churches, ultimately to connect districts, to come together, to fellowship, to connect ministry leaders for work, for the work of the local church. And I believe that it's important that we come together to do God's agenda. What is God's agenda? It's the kingdom agenda. And so I believe that we exist as a jurisdiction to do the work of the Lord in the geographical area that God has called us to. I believe that God has called me to succeed, if you will. I wouldn't be in it if I didn't think God has placed it in my heart to do it. The late Bishop Ward. In that pamphlet, on that website, you will see that Bishop Ward recommended yours truly to the office of auxiliary bishop. And for those that don't know, it was placed there to show you that, surprisingly to me and my wife, that Bishop Ward felt that one day I would make not only a good auxiliary bishop, but a good jurisdictional bishop. He wrote that letter in February of 2017. He presented it to the presiding Bishop Blake and the general board. And if you look at the letter that Bishop Blake responded, he wrote that letter personally to me. And I have proof to show that he signed it in ink himself. And he puts in that letter, I want you to personally know that your presiding bishop definitely sees the work, definitely sees what your bishop feels about you, not to be discouraged. But as things arise, as positions arise, you definitely will be considered. And so I believe I'm called for such a time as this. I'm not here to run against any other candidate. I'm not here to politic in a negative way. I believe that all the men that are running are good men and men that can offer something to our jurisdiction. But I believe that I'm called for such a time as this to implement the things that God has placed in my heart, even as I was in my late teens and 20s, because I've always desired the office of bishop, not for show, not for politics, but for me to do the work of the Lord. So I'm here today just to give you just a brief synopsis of what's in the pamphlet. You'll see a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is what businesses use to kind of balance out what they're doing good and what they're doing wrong. And I believe it's important for us as a jurisdiction to take that approach. I believe it's important for us to look at the S. What is the S? The strengths. What are the strengths of the jurisdiction? The W. What are the weaknesses of the jurisdiction? What are the opportunities? The O. What are the opportunities that we can challenge ourselves to? What is the T? What are the threats that we'll face as leaders, as the next generation taking on this historical jurisdiction? I believe that the transition that we've been in, I believe the bishop has prepared us to handle the transition. And I believe that God has called this jurisdiction to be the light in the state of Missouri and in the Midwest. I don't want to lose the foundation that this jurisdiction is so well known for. But I'll tell you this, I also want to bring back the power of God, where we can see people healed, where we can see people delivered, and we can see people set free. Listen, I'm 38 years old. I already know that many people would say, oh, he's young. Yes, I am young, but I'm young enough to be able to handle it, and I'm old enough to be able to know that there are many of the older saints that laid the word of God on me and labored with me to know how to lay out before the Lord. My experiences is former police officer, making quick decisions on the street in the city of St. Louis, downtown St. Louis, in the projects. A teacher. I'm currently right now a social studies teacher, middle school. Oh, yes, middle school. And as you all know, been pastoring almost 10 years, pastoring my second church. I know I didn't build a church. No, I didn't go out and finance my own building. But you know what? I took over a church that had literally $750,000 in debt. I was able to go and get a loan in our name after merging the church, and was able to effectively merge two churches together. I did not treat those members like stepchildren. I blended it together, and I believe that God has called me to do that even with the jurisdiction. And so they tell me, the generation that I come from, I'm young enough to know how to mobilize and use the internet, but I'm old enough to know what it means to go outside and play before the street lights come on. I'm old enough to know what it means to understand the walkers and the crutches around the church. But I'm also young enough to know that if you lift your hands in your bedroom, Jesus can heal you right there. And so I bring the balance of both worlds. I believe that our jurisdiction is top heavy. I believe that our jurisdiction has a lot of older pastors. And I want to be a breath of fresh air to say, hey, sir, we want to implement things in place so that if you desire to retire and have a successor in place, we can help that transition come to play and not necessarily watch that leader die. See the church become distraught and in transition. I believe that if we embrace it early on, we can affect change. I want you to know that I'm here for the long haul. You may say, well, what if you don't get it, Futrell? You know what? I'm here to serve. I'm here for what was right. Those that know me, you know, even in our assemblies, as a young pastor, I stood for what's right. There will be transparency. There will be accountability. I'm ready to make the hard decisions. I'm ready to effect change. But I also understand that I can't come in effecting change so fast. I have to balance. And I have to surround myself like Solomon. Solomon said it this way. God could have gave him anything, but he said, Lord, I want you to give me wisdom. Because I believe if you walk in wisdom, you'll get the other things. And so that's what I offer to you, offering myself up for the work of the Lord, to become what God has called me to be. And I believe that this next venture in my life, God has placed it in my heart to serve you, the people of Eastern Missouri, First Jurisdiction. I got to go to worship because we are in our New Year's Eve service. I want you to know God is up to something, and he can do it just for you. Because why? He's the best thing. Remember, you're destined to win. God bless you.